Hey everybody, it's Angelica Cheyenne, aka the Chocolate Diva. I'm here with
Cynthia.
And we are going to be delving into a lot on this episode, so stay tuned. Happy Friday, everybody. You're listening to the Chocolate Diva Chronicles. Once again, I am back with another guest. Yes, it's me, Angelica Cheyenne, aka the Chocolate Diva. She is smart, giving, and the host for the upcoming event, Pretty Empower LA. I welcome Cal State University Long Beach alumni, Cynthia Agu.
Yeah, you're close.
Okay. So it is so great to finally meet you. I know we kind of met third party. Through Shanera. Shout out Shanera.
Yes, girl.
You looking cute today. I love the colors. What you rocking today?
I got like a little vintage shirt from Pretty Little Things. I thought I was, it's summer, so I want to be a little colorful.
Okay.
So, here I am.
It's cute. And I always wanted to buy from Pretty Little Things. Is it like an online boutique?
Yeah, it's based in the UK.
Okay. Can you get some good things from there? Because I'm a little, worried sometimes. I'm like, are they going to have the right size? Because sizing's different in UK.
No, girl. It's like the best website ever. Okay. I love that website.
All right. It's good because it looks good on you. But I'm so happy you are here. I know we have been getting our schedules together so we could finally do this interview.
I know, I'm excited.
I'm so excited as well. I see you visited our Union Grind. You got a little coffee thing going on.
Took a tour around little Cal State Dominguez Hills.
What was your first thoughts? A lot of people don't know about us because we're kind of small.
I mean, I've come here before, but it's usually for like a night event or something like that. Right. So I was looking around like, okay, it's a little different from Cal State Long Beach, but I got love for my my campus, my school.
Right. And it's cool. Everyone who goes to Cal State Long Beach loves it. That they're 49ers for life.
Yes, it is, and the campus is so beautiful.
Yeah,
so beautiful.
I actually was going to go there. That was like everyone's top Cal State is Long Beach, but I love Dominguez as well. Now, I like to start off my Fridays with a little fun fact. And since you're my guest of honor, what is something unique about you, like a fun fact, if you will, something not a lot of people know?
A fun fact. I wouldn't say it was fun, but
an interesting fact.
Or interesting habit is it's so weird because whenever I wash my face or anything, I always have to automatically brush my teeth.
Okay.
And so it's weird. I don't know. I feel weird and I feel dirty if I don't.
So you have to do both.
I have to do both. Yeah.
So if you were just coming out of the pool, whatever, and you wash your face, you have to brush your teeth.
I have to brush my teeth. Or my mouth will feel dry and dirty.
That's actually a good thing. It means you always have fresh breath because you're always brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
Now, when did this habit occur? Was it based out of a phobia? Why?
It's because I always, morning and night,
okay, I
would wash my face or, take a shower and then brush your teeth, or at night wash my face and brush my teeth. So whenever my face feels fresh, my mouth feels fresh too.
That's good. I mean, I feel like if you're going to have a habit like that, that's the best one to have,
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being too clean. Now, you're also Nigerian, right?
I am. Shout out to all my Nigerians.
Now, I follow a lot of different Nigerian comedians, and one of their favorite things to joke about is jollof. I seen it.
Niger jollof.
I always wanted to know exactly what that is. So please explain what exactly is jollof and why is it so just the staple in Nigerian cuisine?
So jollof is a rice. It's a type of rice.
Okay.
So I think it's mixed with tomato and everything like that. And so the difference between Niger jollof versus Ghana jollof.
I didn't even say that. I already knew she was going to do that. I was hoping you would break it down. Okay.
So I think I'm not really sure, so don't hold me to this, but I think Ghana jollof has peas and all the other stuff in there, and Nigerian jollof is just nice and You're
not being biased, right?
No bias at all. Team Niger.
Now, what do you exactly eat it with?
So what you would eat it with is you can eat it with fish.
Okay.
You can eat it with goat meat. You can eat it with just regular meat and stew.
Okay.
And I mean, it's a rice, so you can pretty much eat it with anything.
And I always wanted, for some reason, being African American, you always want to know that original food like that you would be eating if you were still there. I'm not going to go into the history of it. But so I was always curious. I was like, what is jollof? Because it seems like it's like serious.
It's fire. You need to try it.
It's like equivalent to the mac and cheese in African American culture. You know? Now, you are also hosting, because I want to get back to the heart of why you're really here. Mm-hmm. Although, if you got some jollof, girl, send it my way. I always wanted to definitely try that. But right now, I want to focus on the Pretty Empower LA, which is a women's empowerment brunch. Now, how do you define empowerment? Let's start there.
So I define empowerment as something that, is found from within. Because if you don't make that change yourself and you don't kind of have that urge to empower yourself and to motivate yourself, then there's nothing that anyone else can tell you. So when I say empowerment, I think it's something that you have control of. Okay. Whether you want to, be a better person, be a better woman, be a stronger woman, be a powerful woman.
And that's very good because, like you said, it's from within. Now, when it comes to empowerment, a lot of people seek it through different ways. So what ways are you trying to shed light on? Because you can be empowered through multiple channels,
So I think the best way, or the way that I found most effective, is through, discussions and through having, talking to other women. Because I've been through times where I thought I was going through, something that no one else has been going through. Yeah. And then when you talk to someone, it's just like, oh my gosh, like, you went through this and you got through it. This helps, motivate me. It changes my whole perception, and I can change and know that I can get through it as well. So I think being able to discuss with other women and hear other women's stories is a great way to kind of change your mindset and be able to empower yourself.
It's interesting you say that because sometimes we put discussions on like the tail end. We think empowerment has to be something big, and sometimes just a simple conversation can definitely help. Exactly. Now, you are hosting the brunch, and now a lot of people who are young are probably like, okay, brunch, you think that's when you get into your mature years and things like that. So what exactly would be a women's empowerment brunch for those who are not familiar?
Okay, first off, brunch brunch is a new 2018 thing. Everybody loves their Sunday brunch. But the Women's Empowerment Brunch is basically an event to, like I said before, have women focus on, wanting to motivate themselves. Okay. So I want to provide, I guess, the environment and the tools that women can make that decision to empower themselves and motivate themselves and find out kind of like, what is good about me? What do I love about myself? And how can I use that in all areas of life?
And that's true. I mean, when you put food and mimosas, because they're going to have a liquor. People get comfortable and you start to really get to the heart of many issues we all face. Now, why did you create the event? Because that is a big deal. Not only the host, but you also were the creator. So what inspired you to create the event?
Well, because I have, I've been blessed enough to be surrounded by such great women, and I always tell her this. But one of the panelists, Ronnie, I actually attended one of her vision board parties, and we had such an amazing conversation. And so when I left there, I was like, man, I'm Superwoman. I could take over the world, Right. And and I want to spread that out. I also have a group chat with some of my girlfriends, and the things that we talk about, and and the encouragement that we give each other, it's so powerful, and it kind of it molds me to who I am as a person. And so to be able to share that and kind of create that community on a wider scale is kind of what motivated me.
And it's really cool because nowadays more than ever we need support. Yes. To support each other. And like you said, the way it's grown from group chats to like events with your friends, and now you're like, I want to bring it to the masses, which is dope. Yes. So how did you select your panelists? Because you have some great women on it. Your keynote speaker, Adriana Wright, the founder of the Ambitious Women's Project, is just great. So how did you come up with the people you want to be on your panel and your keynote guest speaker?
So I was actually talking for the keynote speaker. I was actually talking to a friend of mine, Justin. I was telling him about what I wanted to do and everything. He suggested her, and so when I met with her, I instantly loved her. I was like, "You're amazing." I loved her story. I'm not going to tell you it because you need to come to the event.
Right. No spoiler alerts.
Yeah, no spoilers. So yeah, I met with her. I thought she was dope. And that's how I selected her. And my panelists, they're just people that I've, friends that I've met and that kind of left a lasting impression on me, and who I think are very strong women, who are very opinionated, and who stand in their truth.
And like you said before, it's good to find people who you have similarity with in terms of the struggle, because you can uplift each other, and then you can go out and express to others how they can do the same, because people relate to people who's been where they've been before. At least I do, especially. Now, essentially, what is the main reason for having the brunch besides empowerment and giving courage? Like, what's the heart of the brunch? Why did you feel the need to really want to create that and bring it to people?
Because, like we covered before, like, women need support. And, I know we have the issue of comparing ourselves and kind of battling each other. Like, I'm light skinned, I'm dark skinned, and separating ourselves. And we need to change that mindset. We need to be able to band together and know that another woman, like, you're my sister, like, you're here to support me. You're not, against me. And there are people out there who are here to help you, who are here to encourage you and tap you on the shoulder, like, and tell you, like, you're doing good, whatever you're feeling right now, you'll get through it. So it's just kind of to provide that, I guess, sister circle and a support group.
And why do you think that's dwindling? Because I think as long as it's been women, we've always had some underlying competition. That's just the way the world has made it. But it seems like it's been increasing. We've been more extremely competitive. So what do you think that stems from nowadays?
I think it's social media, to be honest.
Okay.
I think the whole platform of social media has a huge influence on how women see themselves today. And obviously men, but we're not going to get into that today.
Right.
We're going to focus on our ladies. But so social media, I feel like it basically tells you, like, this is what you need to aspire to be.
Okay.
And if you are looking like this, then you'll get money, you'll get the man, you'll get all of this. And so it makes women want to aspire to that and try to feel, and when they're there, to feel like they're better than every other woman.
And that's true. I mean, I feel like to some degree we want to feel like above someone, but that's also can be very detrimental, because then you end up trying to tear them down to elevate yourself, which isn't cool. But in the midst of everything at the brunch, what are, like, the main issues you want to delve into? I know you can't give away any spoilers, but what do you plan to shed light on at the event?
I want to focus, especially with every single attendee, I want to focus on self-esteem.
Okay.
And basically not just the self-esteem of the women there, but how can you leave here and contribute to the community? Like, what can you do, like for the young girls, like what, for instance, you can do mentoring, right? And you can kind of change the image of women and how young girls see women. Because now I remember, first, those of you who are like beauty junkies like I am, like BeautyCon, like even when I went to BeautyCon like last year, I was seeing like these 12-year-olds at BeautyCon. Like, what are you doing here?
Right, you should be playing in the sandbox somewhere.
Exactly.
Or going on like a video game.
Right, but it's because they on Instagram and they see these things like, oh, BeautyCon, I want to wear makeup and stuff like that. And so, I want the women there to understand, like, you're okay. Every woman's supposed to have this ugly face, and you're supposed to grow and mature there. And so you don't have to shoot all the way to the top, right away. So I want the women there to understand that and be able to kind of get to the community and share that.
And that's really cool, because like you said, everything is so quick. The internet's quick, knowledge is quick. People are aging quicker, or they want to be grown up faster. And to some degree, that's fine, because I know when I was a kid, I wanted to mature maybe faster than I did. Now I'm trying to go back. No. But
I'm like, another birthday already?
Yeah, it's like the adulting is just getting overwhelming. But in all seriousness, sometimes just we are too fast for our own good. So do you think our quickness is what's making us feel like we are just not adding up?
Yeah, of course. Because, even when I'm like scrolling through Instagram, I'm like, man, this girl's 22. She got a Bentley and a nice little house.
Right.
Like, and, you're always comparing yourself. Like, man, I want to, or, just in general, you're just like, okay, by 26, I'm going to be married. By 30, I'm,
And it ups every time you get close.
Yeah, it's like, okay, all right, well, let me just push it back a little more. I got 2 more years.
Right.
And then you don't get there, and then you see someone who's there, and then it kind of, it is a blow against your self-esteem and your confidence.
And how do you get past that? Because in our professions, it's kind of a necessity. Some people can go and never have a social media and it not affect them because their job does not call for that. When you're trying to be in anything revolving the public now, it's like a must. So like, how do you keep yourself from getting enveloped in feeling the need to compare like that?
I mean, I'm not saying I'm completely over it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does affect me.
Yeah.
But I think to take breaks is a good thing, you know,
Okay.
and to also realize that you just kind of, it's a mentality thing to realize, okay, you know, most things on Instagram are just smoke and mirrors anyway. So you just got to realize, like, this is my life. I have my own lane, and I'm going to get there when I get there.
And that's true. Your main competitor should be yourself. You should be trying to outdo yourself every time. Now, you and I are both millennial women. Or at least I'm assuming. You never know.
Girl, what you mean? I'm 45.
Right? So I'm assuming that you and I are both millennial women. Now, each generation of women, I feel, have their own set of problems. Of course, it gets better as the generations go on. We're further than our grandmothers, you know, but we still have a long way to go. Now, what do you feel are the main issues that millennial women face today, besides social media, just in general? Because there's many.
I think just being in, like, you know, loving, you know, makeup and all that stuff, I think that's, like, the thing for women. Like, it's always, like, hair and makeup is more so appearance rather than focusing on, like, your inner self.
Yeah.
And, like, your personality. Because there's some, you know, actually, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm here to uplift women. But, you know, like, I feel like I have conversations with some people. I'm just like,
Right.
all right, well. Your personality is not, you know.
Yeah.
So, and they focus on their, you know, their appearance. I feel like that's an issue that we have, is that we're not really focusing on our inner personalities.
Right. Because we're just worried about what we're portraying.
Cute,
yeah.
Right? As long as I look good, like, I don't have to I can be have a dry personality.
Right. And that's true. I feel like it all kind of links back to our internet age and social media, because you can't hear people talk on social media, you know?
Right. You see their face all the time.
Yeah, you just
open
see
their mouth
face.
like, oh my God.
Right.
Dumb at the box.
And this is not to down, because I love social media, obviously. I use it a lot. A lot of it has to do with my profession. But in general, it can be great. But I think it all has its downsides. Everything has a downside now. You also have a bachelor's degree from Cal State Long Beach in healthcare administration and management. Yes, claps to you, girl. Now, what made you decide I want to get a career in healthcare?
So my whole family's in healthcare, and I always found a passion in healthcare. I think it's more so because you can really, really contribute and make an immediate change. And I didn't necessarily want to be in the clinical aspect of it, where it's like you being a nurse, you're a doctor. I kind of wanted to be in the future change, because, you know, with administration, like, although it does take a while, you'll still be able to make a change in, you know, in the future.
Now, when it comes to healthcare, like you said, a lot of people get into it because they want to make a change and make a difference. And what exactly is it about clinical? Because I heard some people say they didn't want to get into the clinical side. For you, why was that?
I know it sounds petty, but I just didn't want to touch, like, you know, be that close to, like, sick people. I mean, I've done it. I know it sounds so bad. I do care about sick people.
That's so ironic.
I love everybody. I wish everybody the best. But, you know, during my internships and stuff, I was able to kind of, like, do rounds on the floors and see the, you know, the patients in there. And yeah, just from experience, I was like, no.
What was the most alarming part about being in kind of that environment where you are that close to people who unfortunately are suffering a sickness? What did that awaken in you when you saw that?
I mean, it's just sad to see people, you know, sick, and some people dying, and also to see people who have no family. And because the hospital that I interned at, they were taking homeless people as well in the ER.
Okay.
And to have them, some of them had mental problems as well. So just to see that, it's just like, it's so sad.
Yeah.
And the hospital is so cold, so dark.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just like it's a depressing environment, but it's a necessary environment.
And that is true. And it's good that you're being one of the many who wants to get into that, because you have to have a big heart and kind of a toughness, because when you see that much trauma, it can sometimes put a downer on you, you know?
Absolutely.
Now, when did you realize that you wanted to help people through improving their health? And this could be physical health, mental health, emotional health, things like that.
I mean, I've always liked doing it. You know, I used to volunteer at the Long Beach Rescue Mission.
Oh,
yeah, and
you were one of those people. You know?
And I love it. I thought it was very fun to help people out and just kind of put a smile on people's faces. So I've been doing it for so long, and I found a joy in it.
Yeah.
So I thought, why not, carry that over to my career.
Now, when you were a kid, because I'm sure you have a story about helping someone or something in need, what was that one thing that you just had to always be a part of, give back to? What was something that you always did as a kid to just help someone out?
As a kid, did I do anything as a kid? I don't even remember. I don't understand how people remember their childhood. Like, it's literally, someone's like, oh, when I was 4. Like, how do you remember when you're 4?
If you get still enough, you can start remembering.
But I just always like to be involved in anything.
Okay.
So whether it was just like making sack lunches and handing it out to the homeless.
Oh my God, I feel so bad.
So excited about that, and it's really, I love it. It's really fulfilling, and just anything like that.
Have you ever thought about joining the Peace Corps or anything like that?
No, because I don't know too much information about the Peace Corps, but is that the one that you go? Oh, that's Teach for America. Huh?
Yeah, I think at the Peace Corps, I think you go out and help in underprivileged countries and things like that. Something like that. No, United Nations is something different. But I'm sure you can do that too. I'm sure if you wanted, you could join the United Nations. I don't even know.
United Nations.
Oh gosh. Okay. But in general, so you were just the type that you just got fulfillment from giving, which is good because that's needed. That's how people help bring people up to different levels, being that willing to give to them. Now, what is the hardest part about communicating as a health professional? Because sometimes we can want to tell people something and they're not going to be as receptive. So I know when you're in the healthcare field, a lot of people are not going to be as receptive to your knowledge, even though it's expert knowledge. So how do you deal with that?
I mean, you just have to be basically just aware of your words and how you say things. You can't just be like, you're sick.
Right.
Like, okay. You just gotta be nice and, and treat them like they're human, because a lot of times when you're in the hospital, you're sick, they tend to just like throw you to the side.
Yeah.
And, make sure that you see them and you notice them and you make sure that you cater to them and, like, hey, I see you and I'm here to help you. Like,
no pun intended.
I'm not your enemy. Right. Yeah. Like, I'm not your enemy. I want you to get better just as much as you want to get better.
Do you have any like horror stories of you trying to maybe help someone and they just were not feeling it? Because some people you can want to help and they don't want to be helped. So have you ever had one of those?
Well, just in the friends group, obviously, but like in the in the hospital, I remember one time in the ER, there was a patient who, she was homeless. I think they were trying to give her medications and stuff, and she was just not having it. And I was like standing there just looking at her, and then she just used the bathroom on herself.
Oh.
Yeah. Used number 2 on the floor and everything. Everyone was just like, oh my goodness. And she was screaming don't touch me, let me go. And I know, and that's the only thing about hospitals is you're gonna see that.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot more horror stories I've heard.
Yeah.
So luckily I only seen that one.
That's definitely a calling because you're doing some hard work. That's all
I didn't clean up or touch it, but
right. But just dealing and seeing that and then having to deal with the fallout, it's just a hefty load to have to deal with. But it's very noble. And I've always admired people who want to get into that because it's definitely, you have to have the heart for it. Again, no pun intended.
You definitely do.
Now, what have you learned the most about people through being a healthcare professional?
There's 2 things. So some people, you get people who don't want help or people who want too much help.
Yeah.
And people don't listen. So when you tell them okay, you're in here because, you're lacking exercise. And they're just like, oh, okay. And are you going to exercise? No. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, or people who are just, who come in just because they had like a cough or something, you come in like every week. Like, you don't need to be here.
Some people are just over cautious.
Yeah, definitely. Or, the people who just think that nothing's wrong with them. It's like, sir, your blood pressure is really high right now. You need to sit down and relax. So, yeah.
And that's the thing. Like you said, we can sometimes want the best for people, but ultimately they're going to have to want the best for themselves.
Exactly.
And it's good to see that hasn't scared you away, because some people get turned off by it. They're like, okay, that's just not the profession for me. But it seems to me that you're steadfast and this is something that you're really passionate about, which is good. Now, what do you want to ultimately achieve in healthcare, as a healthcare professional, as anyone who just wants to help people,
Well, career-wise, I'm thinking of, changing my career to pharmacy.
Okay.
And so just that way, because I feel like a lot of times patients get medications and then they take it until their symptoms are gone. Then they're like, okay, I'm good. And it's like, no, you need to take everything in here so you won't have to come back. But, I think that pharmacy is a good field to be in.
Okay.
Although it has like the negative, part of it. But that, and then I also just, I just want to make a change. You want to contribute to the world any way that you can, especially like when you're blessed like us. Like, you want to, a lot of people don't have that. And so, just to give your time to people and give like your passion and just to let people know that you do care.
And like I said, that's just so beautiful, because in today's society, a lot of people are individualists. They're just focused on what they're doing, and which I'm all for, because you have to help yourself before you can help others. But it's good to see when people feel like, okay, I've helped myself, now I want to come and bring someone else. So for you, would you feel like you want to start your own scholarship one day, maybe for young girls who could use some type of empowerment, if you will, or they can use just some support? Would you think about starting your own scholarship fund?
Yeah, when I, hopefully when I get the funds, I would love to start a scholarship, not just for young girls, but for young boys as well, to kind of push them to further their education, right? To get, especially the Black community, we need more Black doctors, more Black engineers,
True.
And so if we can eliminate the barriers like the MCAT, the LSAT, all that stuff, and get scholarships for them and push them to get to that level, then that would be great.
And that's all good to hear. I'm definitely here for that. I'll try to donate the little funds I may have extra, my little coins, to help get you started. Now, we are in the midst of many movements, especially in the last year. The Me Too, Black Girls Rock has been trending for a minute, International Women's Day, all of these great, powerful movements for women and women of color. Do you think Pretty Empowered should become a movement, and would you be willing to to start that movement?
Yes, what you mean?
First in LA, and we're gonna branch off.
Yeah, I think we should spread the love. Pretty Empowered. I mean, it could be a movement. I think it should be.
Right.
So to make women stronger and to know that they are the shit, basically.
Yes. And how would you go about starting that? Like, what are your ideas in regards to getting it just more notoriety? Because I feel like it's a really great movement. I'm thankful that Shanera reached out to me about it, because I'm always down to support things that are this positive and uplifting. So why and how would you go about getting it on that world stage, if you will?
Yeah, so, I'm going to start an organization called Pretty Empowered Inc. And so it's an umbrella. So under that, I would have multiple, events. And I want to do an event towards, like, young girls. And then we have this women's empowerment brunch, which hopefully, we'll be able to do, like, a U.S. tour.
Right. I'd be so here for it.
Yeah, just make it a big thing and just allow women to, come for one day and either share their knowledge or, share their encouragement to other women, and just hopefully people can leave there and look forward to it and look forward to that motivation and empowerment.
And that's all good. Now, we did talk about the internet and social media and how it kind of shapes our identity as individuals, period. But how do you think it's directly shaping our identity as women?
I think it's shaping the way that we perceive ourselves, because you know, again, social media, we live our life off of these likes and like views and stuff, and what you see on there is like, oh, these women are having these Louis Vuitton bags,
right,
this and that, and I need to get there, you know. And I think that it's harming us more than it is, you know, uplifting us. Even though there is some positivity on Instagram, but I think it is definitely harming us. And just the whole thing on body image, just the whole, I guess, focus on body image is really damaging, because it's making us all want to compare ourselves and get these surgeries and, you know, have this little body, the Coke. Was it the Coke? No, what is it? Hourglass figure?
The Hourglass Coke bottle. Yeah.
Same thing. I'm like, wait, what soda is it?
Right.
But have like the Hourglass figure, you know, or want to drink this, you know, the scam of flat tummy tea, you know, or something like that.
I almost bought it to the height, because I just was like, you know what?
No, I tried
what
it.
The heck? It was like, okay.
I'm not perfect, y'all.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So now I know that for a fact. No, but do you think that's an extension of pop culture? Because some people would say, okay, get off social media, you know, and that would seem like it would solve everyone's problem, right? Okay, I don't have a social media. But do you think it's a broader issue within pop culture?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, you see it in videos. You see it in just reality shows. Yeah. Because it's carried over to reality shows. So if you watch TV or any type of entertainment, you're going to come in contact with it. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's definitely with pop culture today, for sure.
And it's funny because it seems like it just takes me back to when I was a kid and I wasn't allowed to watch hip hop music videos, and I couldn't because there was a lot of because I wasn't allowed to watch the Little Kim videos and all those videos. But it seems like it's just grown since then in terms of how we are seeing ourselves in media as women. Now, what do you think is the best way to kind of not get caught up in the hype? Because face it, we're going to be on social media, we're going to use it, we're going to interact on it, see it on TV. Like, how do you not get caught up in that hype? Especially coming from a young girl's perspective, you know, the adolescence.
I know. I think the best thing you can do is just kind of take breaks from it and kind of focus on your current life. Because, you know, we all know that social media is addicting. Yeah. But you just have to make the choice and tell yourself, like, this is not real. This is not how people's, you know, lives are. Yeah. And just, like, I just try to take breaks from it and kind of choose, like, what I look at.
True. Filter out that explore
like,
page.
Fake.
Turn off some people's notifications.
Right.
Now, in society, it's great to have a great surrounding of people that are in your corner. So it's good to be around people who love you, uplift you, and support you. As women, do you think that's even more important than anything, to have that strong connection of positive groups of women? And is it beneficial for our health?
Absolutely. I feel like, you know, nowadays women are they're expected to be everything, right? Like, you need to be strong, but not too strong. You need to be caring. You need to be loving, but don't be too soft. You know, like they expect us to be like as in, you know, men, but they expect us to be everything, and we, you know, at times, like, we can't be everything, but you know, we need that support from other women. I think support in general is huge. Yeah. And I encourage all women to, you know, have that support group and just kind of, I guess, seek out that support group, especially when it comes to, like, young girls. I mean, when you're growing up, obviously you're not going to listen to everyone, but it's just to have, like, a good mentor or just, you know, an auntie, or because you're not going to listen to your mom. But
and that's the thing, like, when you're, for some reason, when you're adolescents, you feel like you know everything.
I got it,
and you got it. And ironically, you don't, so you go to your friend who is just in the same boat. Yeah. So what is a way that you can find someone who you can open up to? Because let's face it, your peer's not going to know what to do. They're your peer. Right. And that's not always the best source of person to go to for actual advice on how to live your life. So how do you find someone that you are comfortable enough to open up with and let lead you?
It would be like a mentor. I would say find a women mentor. Sometimes it's hard to find it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still trying to look for a mentor, but if you have that, if there's someone out there that you kind of admire and look up to, I think that you should definitely reach out to them, have them mentor you. Mm-hmm. And just kind of, you want someone who's older or someone who's in the life that you want, basically. The positive life that you want, and just talk to them and open up to them.
And everyone can use guidance. I luckily have it from my mom. I listen now. But if you're lucky enough to have a parent, I would definitely say your parent first. And if not, like you said, try to get someone who you want to aspire to be, or someone you're just comfortable and trust enough to let lead you. Now, for the lone wolves out there, because there's a lot of people who feel like, I got it on my own. I don't need to have anyone around me or any connection of positivity. Let's just play devil's advocate here. How can that be unhealthy? How can that hurt you in the long run, being like, I can do it all on my own?
Wait, how just being a lone wolf?
Yes.
Because you're trying to do it all on your own. And if you don't need help from it, like, you always need help from someone, and you're gonna just go the hard way. And shout out to Game of Thrones, because they said the lone wolf always dies and the pack always survives. Oh,
so. That's a quote to remember.
Right, put that in here. But yeah, so your life is going to be 10 times harder if you're trying to do it alone, and you don't want anyone to help you. Your path would be way easier if you even just ask for help. I think most stubborn people try to go alone and they end up.
So you do believe that it's stubbornness that sparks people wanting to be alone? Because some people I thought were alone because they didn't really know how to ask for help. And then some people find a lot of confidence in being alone. So do you think that being alone out of confidence, that's not such a great way to find your confidence?
You mean, so you're talking about...
So, like, people say, I want to be and do it all on my own so I can say that I didn't have to ask for anything, or I didn't have to, rely on anyone. They find some type of confidence in knowing that they're that strong, that they can do it on their own. Do you feel like finding confidence in being alone can have bad outcomes?
I mean, I think that's a good thing that you want to do it all on your own, but... I mean, just as a simple phone call or something like that, like it's not going to hurt you,
right?
But I think that can damage you because, like I said before, it's just going to make your path 10 times harder, because even with us, because of Shanera, she helped us get together.
Yeah.
And if I was stubborn, I would just,
right?
I would have no one or know nothing. So, and it would be very hard for me. So I think, not necessarily relying on someone, but just accepting help is not a bad thing.
Right. So everyone, if you need a helping hand, don't be afraid to ask now, because it's Flashback Friday. I like to always play a little game. So since you're good at giving advice and helping people, you're going to advise your younger self. Oh, now, if you could go back and give your younger self advice, what would you tell her? So I want to start there. What would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself, hold on, things are going to get better. You're not cute right now, but you're going to be cute.
Oh, girl.
You're going to be killing them down the road.
We all say we weren't cute, and then we all look back and it's like, dang, we really were. Like, what was thinking?
Man. Oh, look at my pictures. Cringeworthy there. But yeah, and then also, just all the letdowns. Like, there, one closed door, there's like 2 that are open. So, I would tell myself, like, just because you didn't, win this, you got this, or just because you didn't get in this school, you got in this school, and this is why you're here, you are where you are.
So that's good advice. Like you said, sometimes you just need to tell yourself you're going to be all right.
But when you're in it, you're like, no, it's not. Right. I'm still ugly.
Your skin will clear up. Right, yeah. Now, it is time for Friday Flashback or Friday Comeback. Should things be left in the past or make a comeback? Why or why not? Let's start with number 1. Famous R&B girl groups. Flashback or comeback?
No, flashback.
You don't want the girl groups. You don't want no more TLC.
Let it go.
You don't want another SWV Escape. You don't want none of that.
No, they can stay where
they're dang. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that.
We over it. No, thank you.
And you're for woman empowerment. No, I'm kidding.
Right. I'm not saying y'all are bad. I'm going to give you your accolades.
Okay. Juicy couture jumpsuits.
We can work with that. They're workable.
You know, everyone wanted a pair of sweats with Juicy on the booty. Like,
they're workable. I mean, it's the same thing, like a Nike or Adidas. All workable.
They should make a retro line and make a limited edition comeback or something. I used to always want a Juicy couture jumpsuit, so I looked at the price.
They need to just change the Juicy sign behind your booty.
That's the only reason I want it, because in that case, like, why would you want it? Like, that's part of the reason why you really want it. Now, let's go to revamps of TV shows. Girlfriends.
Oh,
Sex and the City.
Girlfriends, hands down. Don't even need to hear the rest.
I knew you was going to say that, so I definitely agree with you. We should definitely have a revamp of that. All right. Flavor of Love series.
Okay.
Flashback or comeback?
I actually did like it.
I knew it.
It fed into my ratchet side, but
I knew it. I knew it.
That was a funny show, though.
I mean, I'm sorry. It was. I felt guilty and entertained at the same time.
But that was like the start of like the reality madness.
It was.
That we have today.
But unfortunately, again, I don't think I was allowed to watch that show. I think I ended up getting cable in my room, and then that was it.
Like sneaking it.
Yeah. Okay, last but not least, Erykah Badu's head wrap. Flashback or comeback?
I think it's cute.
I feel like
comeback. It is cute.
That's what I thought. Especially now, like, I feel like she needs to come back and show why she's the mother of head wraps. Thank you, Cynthia, for coming. It was so much fun having you today. Mm-hmm. I am really glad that we connected. I will see you at your event.
Yes, Pretty Empowered, July 14th, 11 to 4.
Yes, tickets are still available.
Yes, at www.prettyempoweredinc.com.
Now, since it is Friday, I will let you choose the Flashback Friday song of the day.
Flashback Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do... Do you want it to be hip, like
whatever you want?
Okay. Let's see. Let's do Music Soul Child.
Yes.
Let's do Teach Me.
I'll be in my feelings. I used to be like 10 years old, be like, yes, I can teach you to love. Like, never
like, what
even.
You know about love?
I didn't even know idea. I didn't even have a boyfriend. I didn't have a first crush, none of that. So we're going to get out of here with Music Soul Child's Teach Me How to Love.
You want me to acapella it? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we definitely are just getting everything warmed up here. But before, I want to also let you tell everyone how to reach you.
Yes, you can reach me on social media. So on Instagram and Twitter, my username is Cyn Taught You. So CYNTAUHGHTYOU.
Yes. And you, as always, can find me on Instagram at Simply the Chocolate Diva or on Twitter at Angelica Diva. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. And thank you once again for joining me.
Bye. For my fam, protect them by all means. And give you the things that you need, baby. Our relationship is suffering. Trying to give you what I never had. You say I don't know how to love you, babe. Well, I say show me the way. I keep my feelings deep inside. I shadow them with my pride. I'm trying desperately, baby, just work with me. Show me the way to surrender my heart. Girl, I'm so lost. Yeah. Teach me how to love. Yeah. How I can get my emotions involved.